Burma, which is also known as Myanmar, was dominated by the brutal military regime nearly half a century. People had no freedom of expression, no freedom of speech. Until late 2010, there were more than 2,000 political prisoners in the notorious prisons across the country. And like nowadays, there was also no freedom of the press. News that the authorities thought criticized the military government was banned in the local journals. When I was 13 years old, my father asked me to put a piece of binding wire connected to a long piece of electric wire at the top of the roof of our house. We would use that wire as a radio antenna for better reception. I was never tired of climbing up to the roof of our two-story house to adjust the wire, as I wanted to listen to the news broadcast from the Voice of America, VOA, Radio Free Asia, RFA, and BBC. Those are reliable news sources for Burmese people who are hungry for the truth about Burma. Not many Burmese people were interested in watching and listening to the news on Myanmar radio and television MRTV programs, which is the Burmese military government's mouthpiece of propaganda. Instead, Burmese who wanted the truth would listen to the news from the VOA, RFA, and BBC. We were lucky to be allowed at least to listen the truth, although speaking the truth in our land would put us in danger. My father and I shared a Chinese-made Texan shortwave radio to listen to the news. As it was a very cheap one of poor quality, we could not hear the news broadcast from Washington, D.C. clearly. The long and thin electric wire connected to our handmade binding wire antenna was helpful in improving the sound quality of the radio. But sometimes the little antenna was blown by the strong winds and heavy rain. Then I had to climb to the top of the roof and fix the antenna again. Despite living in an energy-rich country, we did not have electricity at home. My father and I had an agreement, sharing the radio. He used it in the morning when the VOA broadcast the morning programs at 5:30. I used it again at 5:30 in the evening to listen to the VOA's night programs.
Welcome to the Voice of America in Burmese.
မင်္ဂလာညနေခင်းပါရှင်2013ခုနှစ်ဖေဖော်ဝါရီလ17ရက်တနင်္လာနေ့ညနေပိုင်း VOA အစီအစဉ်တွေကိုအမေရိကန်ပြည်ထောင်စုမြို့တော်ဝါရှင်တန် DC ကနေထုတ်လွှင့်ပေးနေပါပြီမြန်မာစံတော်ချိန်ညနေ6နာရီကနေ9နာရီအထိလှိုင်းဒိုမီတာ16 19 25တို့ကနေတိုက်ရိုက်ဖမ်းယူနားဆင်နိုင်ပါတယ်ရှင်
The clear and strong voices of the VOA's broadcasters covering the news from around the world captured my attention until the end of the evening programs for the day. I was fairly familiar with the names of the broadcasters and matched them with their voices. Time passed very quickly, and my life is also changing so fast as well. 17 years ago, I never thought one day being able to travel the world from the east to the west. I never dreamed of becoming a TV news presenter and a radio broadcaster at VOA, but now it has happened to me. Reporting news in front of the TV cameras in the VOA's newsrooms and shooting outdoors around Washington, D.C. I often wonder if I'm dreaming or if it's really happening.
မင်္ဂလာပါခင်ဗျာမင်္ဂလာပါရှင်ဇန်နဝါရီလ31ရက်ကြာသပတေးနေ့ VOA TV သတင်းတော်အစီအစဉ်စတင်ပါပြီရှင် VOA မြန်မာ TV သတင်းတော်အပါအဝင် VOA အာရှရုပ်မြင်သံကြားအစီအစဉ်တွေကို Asia Set 3 ဂျိုတူကနေနေ့စဉ်24နာရီပတ်လုံးထုတ်လွှင့်ပေးနေပါတယ်နေ့စဉ်မနက်9နာရီတိုင်းမှာမြန်မာပိုင်းအစီအစဉ်အသစ်ကိုတင်ဆက်ပေးပြီးတော့နောက်တစ်နေ့မနက်အစီအစဉ်အသစ်မပြောင်းခင်အထိအချိန်ချင်းထပ်မံထုတ်လွှင့်ပေးနေပါတယ်မြန်မာနိုင်ငံတွင်းမှာလူခွေရေးချိုးဖောက်မှုတွေအကျင့်ပြတ်ခြားစားမှုတွေနဲ့အကြမ်းဖက်မှုတွေဆက်ပြီးဖြစ်ပွားနေပေမဲ့ဒီချီနီတွေကနေကြော်လွန်ပြီးမြန်မာနိုင်ငံရဲ့နိုင်ငံရေးပြုပြင်ပြောင်းလဲမှုမှာရှေ့ဆက်ပြီးတော့လှုပ်ဆောင်သွားဖို့အတွက်အမေရိကန်ပြည်ထောင်စုအနေနဲ့အားပေးကူညီသွားမှာဖြစ်တဲ့အကြောင်းအမေရိကန်ထိပ်ပိုင်းခေါင်းဆောင်တွေကပြောလိုက်ပါတယ်
Even more exciting is that I am now working around the reporters whose news reports I have listened when I was young. I'm now meeting them in person and working together with them. Unbelievable. The most exciting time is when I broadcast live on the radio. I arrive at the office at 3:30 a.m., where I translate or rewrite 4 news scripts and a news article. I must finish all of them within 2 hours before the air show. So far, I have been able to make it. 8 hours begin at 6 a.m. when it is 5:30 p.m. of the same day in Burma.
Welcome to the Voice of America in Burmese.
မင်္ဂလာပေါင်းနဲ့ပြည့်စုံတဲ့နေ့တစ်ဖြစ်ပါသည်ခင်ဗျာဝါရှင်တန် DC မြို့တော် VOA အမေရိကန်တန်ကနေ2013ခုနှစ်ဇန်နဝါရီလ1ရက်အင်္ဂါနေ့မနက်ခင်းစီစဉ်တွေကိုမြန်မာစံတော်ချိန်မနက်9:00နာရီခွဲကနေ9:00နာရီထိလိုင်းဒိုမီတာ24 32 40တို့ကနေစတင်အသံလွှင့်နေပါပြီဒီမနက်အတွက်စီစဉ်မှုကတော့ကျွန်တော်ကျော်သိန်းခါပါ
At this same time that I was listening to the VOA news thousands of miles away from this office when I was young. When I was young, as a VOA listener, I just turned on the radio and then listened to the news, sitting comfortably somewhere in the house. Now I see the VOA broadcaster have to work hard to prepare for several hours of issues every day. Working as a broadcaster, I feel I have the responsibility to work hard for 60 million Burmese people who are relying on our broadcast. They deserve a reliable news source to open their eyes and ears during our country's process of reform towards democracy.